This beautiful. Hello, darlings. So good to see you on this wonderful Monday. How are we all doing? I'm glad to see Dawn is here. Let's put us in the spotlight, shall we? Because we have some stuff to share. Spotlight myself. Dawn, go ahead and come into the spotlight with me. I'm not sure why the logo is black today. That was not purposefully, but you know, it's kind of cool too, I guess. Hi, Dawn.
Hello.
So good to see you. How are you doing today?
I am doing okay. It's the first day of summer for our kids here, so it always adds an interesting element. You know, you get all excited and the energy is very exciting, and then the first day of summer happens and you're like, wait a minute. I still have a job and now my kids are home.
I feel you there, sister. I feel you there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw cards from the Sacred Rebels deck. This served us super well at the retreat as well. It was quite astonishing how accurate the readings were. So I'm just going to tune into the field and ask for the intention, for the message that we need to hear right now. Here we go. Shock of the new. That kind of hits what you've just said, doesn't it? Shock of the new. Okay. Don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I'll share it then in the email that you always get to. Shock of the new. So this card deck is by Alana Fairchild, by the way, and I love this card deck. So shock of the new. What wild, unconventional voice is calling to you? Can you hear it? It is so different and so unusual. It might be hard to decipher, like hearing an unfamiliar language for the first time. It might be hard to discern with great clarity now, but there is an affinity between you and this strangely beautiful newness seeking to manifest. So something new is coming, girls. This oracle says that there is a stirring at the deepest level within you. Something new will break through, and the process of this birth may shock you. The shock will transform into great joy and a sense of tremendous liberation. But you must bear the strangeness first. I like that. We must bear the strangeness first. That strangeness might be something that rattles your beliefs about yourself and your world, daring you to become more of yourself, more open to where life is leading you, and more willing to be the unique sacred art being crafted by the hand of the universal creator. Nature never shies away from strange beauty. She allows for endless diversity, and her sacred works are often peculiar and stunning. You live within her field of creative grace as a specially created work that also creates. You're being asked to surrender any fear you may have of being seen as exotic, unusual, eccentric, or bizarre. Go ahead and tap your courage points. Let's own that we are exotic, unusual, eccentric, or even bizarre, and we're going to still love and accept ourselves. Great. You are being asked to make peace with strange beauty and to let it happen through you in creative flow. Perhaps you need to allow your conventional ideas of beauty to become even more inspired and open. Perhaps you can allow your need for the world to behave according to your fixed ideas to fall away. Oh, what? Fixed ideas? Me? You will receive so much more in its place. This oracle comes with a special message for you. There are rumblings and stirrings of creative life force happening now, deep in the undercurrents of your being. If you're very attuned or sensitive, which most of us are, right? You may have consciously felt this already with excitement, discomfort, or both. If you have not yet sensed these inner stirrings, they're happening all at the same time anyway. So be on the lookout for the big shift of a new birth, the shock of the new, the unconventional, the strangely beautiful, and the disturbing liberation of that which is foreign stepping into your life. We're going to welcome the foreign. I like that. This is life creating the stage upon which you will experience greater fulfillment. Yes, satisfaction. Okay, we're almost there. Don't be nervous if the rumbling of change turns into a mighty roar that rocks the boats, bursts forth as novel ideas, and changes things in a way that is out of your control. This is life happening. Free fall into it. The oracle of the shock of the new comes to you saying, the old way is on its way out. Yeah. You're being invited, dragged, nurtured, and coerced into the new. You can handle it. This oracle brings you guidance. You're about to encounter something new and different in your life. This is helpful. Don't reject it, no matter how small or insignificant or how powerful and life-changing it may seem to be. You're being asked to dispense with your reliance on the past and what have been your tools to navigate life. Oh, interesting. This so tunes into what we're doing today, the digital detox, right? We're being asked to let go of the tools that we've used in the past to navigate life. And haven't our phones and everything become such a way of navigating life? Wow, okay. You have outgrown your old methods. You will have to fly by the seat of your pants, so to speak, as you experiment with the new ways to be. Life will show you the way. Okay, now comes the healing process. I'm going to scan through it. Okay, let's ground down, center into our being. We got this, and take a nice deep breath and relax. And imagine the strangest and most beautiful creature you can. Something really strange and beautiful, like, I don't know, a pink bunny with green eyes, something strange and beautiful. Bring it to life with color and texture. Envisage the eyes, the body, the wings, the fur, the feathers. How bizarre can you get? What are its qualities, powers, and characteristics? Go ahead and be playful. Go create this bizarre being. Good. Does it have soft fur? Does it have sharp claws? Does it have feathery wings? Does it have antennas? Does it have delicate eyes on the tips? What does it look like? Is it a strange flower maybe that speaks? A tree that grows upside down? Whatever comes to you is just what is needed. Trust in your imagination, as subtle or as wild as it is, and let it speak to you. The breath, and allow this strange being to speak to you, to bring you a message, a symbol, a knowing, a word maybe. Breath. And then I'll speak it out for you. I am supported through the shock of the new. I'm supported through the shock of the new. I accept the beauty in all that is foreign or strange to me, as I know it is bringing me new gifts, wisdom, life experiences, and creative inspiration. Through unconditional love, so be it. I like that. Okay. So take it away, Sister Goddess Dawn.
You want to hear what my bizarre being was? Is that I had a unicorn wearing a boa with sparkly eyes and velvety fur or hair or whatever a unicorn has. And the word was play.
Ooh, unicorn and play. Cool. Pick a sister goddess. Let's hear some more. Unicorn and play. Got it.
Okay. Let's pass the torch to Luana.
Bring her into the spotlight. Luana, what was your bizarre being, and what was something else that maybe came through to you? There you go. We can hear something. Oh, your audio is real. We can't really hear you. I'm sorry, Beate. I'm going to pick you for now. Beate, how about you? Did you get an interesting, bizarre being, or what did you?
I got a little bird.
A bird?
A bird. From time to time, it appears in my garden. I don't know the English word, it's red here. It's a little one, and he has such knots eyes, and he is not afraid. He's coming just into the doorway, and he has a lot of trust, and that's the symbol that he has so much trust.
Trust. I love it. A little bird with a red chest and trust. I love that. Thank you. Then we're seeing a sunflower. Nicole had a sunflower. Thank you so much, Beate, for sharing. I'll remove you from the spotlight. Thank you. Okay. I think one more. Dawn, go ahead. Intuitively pick.
Oh, Luana said in the chat too, her bizarre being was a unicorn with wings and rainbow colors.
Another unicorn. Okay. Two dashes of unicorn. Okay. One more.
And Babette, tell us what yours was.
Hi. I saw a little angel girl with blonde hair and very big eyes, and she was all in white feathers and glitter. And she told me, you have to gonna fly more.
Fly. I love it. An angel, and the word fly, and golden glitter.
With very blonde hair, big hair, with big eyes, and like feathers and glitter and gold. And she really told me, you have to fly more.
Nice. Thank you. How did that make you feel?
More light. Yeah, it's better. I have to fly more. Yeah, I have to use my wings.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'll release you again from the spotlight. Excellent. Okay, so we've got 3 words: play, trust, and fly. I like that. We have 3 beings. We've got many more. We're unicorn, a bird, an angel, and emerald. They all have wings, don't they? That's interesting. That's so interesting. Okay, so if you're like me and odd and bizarre, you could just imagine gathering all these bizarre beings around us, couldn't we? And we could imagine that while we're talking about digital detox, which I think is totally aligned with this, because only when we're able to get off scrolling, I don't know, this sort of mode, and we can go inside and just ask that question, how bizarre could I get? Do we go into imagination, right? And if we're always distracted, always, I don't know, somewhere else, we're not allowing that space for imagination. And I'd hate to think what a world would look like without imagination, because that's all the creativity, isn't it, Dawn? What do you think?
I completely, and this has been top of mind, of course, ever since we had our meeting last week and we set the topic. You know, when things come into our sphere of awareness, I feel like we start to see things more, and we might, you know, these coincidences happen where it just kind of comes into our life a lot more. And we went away camping this past weekend, and I thought about that because we had 3 kids in the car, and it was, you know, constant with the devices, making sure they had to have them plugged in and on the hotspot. And of course, once we got out into the woods and we were out there, they were able to let go of that. But yeah, just having those devices in our hand, I think we're on this. And I did my research, and I thought that one of the interesting things was the habit loop. We talk a lot about habits, but that habit loop, that is the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. And I thought that was...
Let's do that again. We've got the cue, that's the trigger, right? Yep. Then we have the response to that trigger.
Well, it said craving first. Cue, craving, response, and reward.
Oh, okay. So we get the trigger, then that feeling of craving, yearning comes up. Then we respond to it in some way. And the reward comes through that dopamine hit that we get, right? And all the other nice hormones. Okay, cool. So that's the habit loop. That's a really good thing to write down to understand how this is created, right? I think it's so good when we understand how our brain is doing it, and we get the different steps, and we can take our awareness and look at the different steps and say, okay, if there are 4 steps to this habit loop, where am I in which habit? And I've got to share what I got. I got 3 words before our call. Oh, let's see if it's 3. And it was, you've got to break down, then you've got to break up, and then you can break through. So that kind of fits in this too. So you've got to realize, oh my God, what am I doing? You've got to have that breakdown. And that can sometimes happen like, oh my God, I can't plug my phone in. Oh my God, I'm now going to be offline and nobody can reach me, right? I've all been in conferences and I was like, oh my God, I've got only 3%. Who am I going to call? Oh, I'll call Grace and tell her I'm okay. I won't have any more juice in my battery. I'm not available, right? That can create some stress, doesn't it?
It does.
Then you have to break up with it and you have to say, okay, that's just what it is now. I'm going to go offline. I'm going to go away from that habit. And then you can have those breakthroughs of, I'm sure your kids had an amazing time. I mean, all of you, I saw the pictures.
Yeah, they did. They had a great time. And but when you were talking about like the creativity, it just makes me think about, of course, all of us probably on this call are not digital natives, right? I think we're probably all have watched the advent of all of this happen. And so in my head, I'm thinking, when I was a kid, I had to sit in the back seat and look out the window.
Yes, yes, yes. 100%. I feel so lucky about that. And I feel so grateful also Grace, that the digital era didn't hit her until she got into school. And it was like at 8 years, then it kind of started. But at least she had those first primary years without the digital stuff. But yeah. we're rare. We're a rare species here, girls. We really are. And that's why I think this topic is so important, not only to check it in with ourselves, how addicted am I, how attached am I, but also to take that awareness and look at our kids differently, knowing that they have not had that primary programming in that childhood that we did. So I think it'll help us create more understanding and that collaboration with the younger generations, because, I mean, let's be honest, we need them. I need my kids every time I need to figure out some new thing on my phone and some app and something digital. The young ones are always who are going to help me fast, except for you, Dawn. I mean, you're amazing at that too. So we have to go with the times. We have to kind of stay on top of the digital development, but at the same time, we can't allow it to consume us.
Sure. And to be aware of it, because I think it does scare me a little bit when you talked about the imagination, right? Being able to digital detox and have that imagination and have our creative beings being around us. What is it doing to our creativity, with the kids
and with ourselves? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's do a check-in with ourselves. Just notice if we were to be totally honest to ourselves, which we are, how intense is that feeling of attachment or kind of that hooky feeling from 0 to 10? 0 means I don't care. I can be for days without my phone and devices. And 10 is like, oh my God, no, I have to have it right next to me all the time. And let's just check in. Let me see, where am I? I'd say I'm a 6. I'm sort of in between. It's sort of but it's a 5 or a 6. Yeah.
Yep. And we've got a wide range here so far, 1, 5, 4. I think for me, it depends. My computer, because I rely on it for work, I use that if I'm being honest with myself, I use that as a crutch, right? I have to have it. I have to be connected because it's my livelihood. My phone and the social, not as much, I think.
Yeah.
So, and I think I can, rationalize it because it is my job, and that scares me a little bit.
I do that too, of course. Yeah. For me too. Even social is business, because how are people going to know what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a lot of different numbers. I love that. We've set the tone. We know what we're talking about. So I think now would be a great opportunity to show the little clip that we made on our recent digital detox, because the last 2.5 days on the Golden Goddess retreat, we just like that had a digital detox, didn't we, girls? Because I noticed that there was nobody on their phone. We even so much so we're not on our phones that I had to consciously remember, oh my God, we need pictures. Let's see, right? Because otherwise it would have gone and left. And the atmosphere was so special. Oh my goodness. So let's see.
I'm going to share it. And this is the first time I get to see the video too. So let me share my screen. Oh, wait a minute. What did it just tell me? Computer starting share screen will stop others' computer sound share. That means they won't be able to say anything.
Yeah, you can't say anything right now.
Perfect. Okay.
Will it come with sound?
It should. Let me push play. Let's see.
Sound is a tad choppy, but we get the feel, don't we? We did so many beautiful processes and meditations. It was a beautiful setting too in the countryside. So that's just a very first clip. Thank you so much for sharing. There we go. What do you think?
I need a weekend. I needed to come to Austria.
Okay, now I'm going to make you even more jealous because I think I can share my phone, right? And then I can show you just a couple of pictures. Oh no, why does it not? Oh no, wait. It's my cable. I got this. Yep, almost there. Okay, so now, yeah, my pictures. And I think I can just scroll through here like this, can't I? So on the first evening, we had some singing, and it was so special because little Noah was there from Sister Goddess Madeleine. So this little baby and DJ really hit it off. Then we had my dear friend Silke come in, who's a professional singer and dancer, and we sang together. That was amusing. That's me prancing. There's DJ, look at him. We had our wandering goddess with us. I've shared a story about this goddess statue that I blinged. So I painted it, and it's now the goddess that I take everywhere with me. If we have a goddess retreat, and I can, might be difficult in flights. This is the room that we had. It was a beautiful big room. So we had so much space. And yeah, that was so special. On the last day in the morning, I believe it was, might get these days skewed now, we did some hands-on healing. So we live streamed part of it on Facebook, where I showed part of the meditation of, getting into state. And then we healed each other. We took turns. And it was so beautiful to watch. The atmosphere was serene. It was so peaceful and, really special. And we had beautiful weather too. Sorry about that. So it was warm and sunny, and yeah, look at that. We made our own crowns we prepped them on Saturday, and then on Sunday, on the last day, we did our crowning ceremony. I don't have pictures yet of the crowning ceremony, but it's coming. And then we ended with this, we call it the goddess roll. That's the way to do a group hug. But wait for it. This is 5 times the speed. Took us a while, but we did it. Woo! And that's the gang. That's all of us with our crowns. And in the front, you see Dr. Mark. He was there too to give adjustments and treatments to the goddesses. We got lots of fun group pictures. So there. Let's close this now. Let's go back in here. How do I do this now? No.
I love it. It looks so fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, gets me emotional. Let's start with some of your tips, and you've prepared, I can see. So why don't you walk us through the things that you feel are most important, and I'll just zip it, and then I'll come in with some questions if I have them, but I'd like to give you the stage for now. Is that good?
Sure. Of course. So it was interesting. So talking about the awareness thing again, this morning I woke up, it was the first day of summer. I got up at 6:30 as I do, because that's my sacred time to get up before everybody else does. And coincidentally, our exchange student was awake at the same time. So he's downstairs listening to his video. And then my husband woke up and he had the news on his phone. And so there was all this video background noise. Am I the only one does that drive everybody else crazy when you have like conflicting Oh gosh. So I'm trying to do this research, right, on digital detox, and I've got all this video coming from devices in the background. And apparently that's a thing. So I just wanted to share, I had this article about background noise affecting our concentration. So it was it talked about, there's a lot of neuroscience in here, but it really just talked about how background noise disrupts our concentration and it increases general stress levels, which aggravates stress-related conditions such as high blood pressure, coronary disease, peptic ulcers, and migraine headaches. And so, and it also said that continued exposure doesn't lead to habituation. You don't get used to it. So it just worsens the effects. And I just thought that was such an interesting, coincidental kind of learning moment for me as I was learning about the digital detox. So then it went into the discussion about the hyperactive dopamine system, which is where that habit loop comes in. So the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. I think it's probably widely known the adverse health outcomes it leads to: obesity, sleep disorders, mental health disorders. And I shouldn't say, excuse me, causation is hard to prove. It correlates to those things. So in terms of the tips, breaking the habit loop, which goes along with everything I feel like we were talking about last week, by eliminating as many cues as possible. So here are the things that I came up with. The first thing to break the habit loop is to turn off notifications and unnecessary badges. So just even for me, like that little number that shows up on my email telling me how many emails I have, which is that cue for me to get into my email. So any notifications that you can turn off and unnecessary badges, deleting apps. So the more apps that we have on the phone, the more likely we are to get into them and get stuck in them. This is a good one, I think, for me. Does anybody use their phone as an alarm clock? I don't know. We've got some conscious people in here. Yeah. So that to me was not using the phone as the alarm clock. I do the same thing. Not having it in the bedroom. Removing devices and charging stations from the bedroom. Turning off devices at least 1 hour before bedtime. That I think can be hard as well. That's hard because our brain waves need to get into that state where it's calm enough for us to get good enough sleep. I like this one, and I've done this with the kids. I'd like to do it for the summer. So dedicating screen-free time. This says preferably morning. I started this with the kids towards the end of the school year because what I found was they came home from school and they needed a break. To them, a break was getting on their screens. To me, I felt like that was the opposite of a break. So we did a screen-free time after school until 5 o'clock. And it was grueling the first couple of weeks trying to get everybody off of it, staying on it, getting in the habit. But what I found was when you set the stage and they'd go outside and then they wouldn't come in right at 5 o'clock. They would stay out and they would play with their friends. And so it's the same thing, I think, with dedicating the screen-free time in the morning. So if we're able to do this is especially hard for all of us who work on our computers, but dedicating a time where it's screen-free. No devices at mealtime. That is a hard, fast rule in our house. No tech at the table. Wearing a watch instead of using your phone as a watch. Designating a device basket for specified family time. So we have a basket in the kitchen, and when we have our screen-free time, all the phones go into the basket. And this was a good one, and I thought I might mention this to my husband, who was listening to news on his phone this morning, considering using the radio for news so that he doesn't get stuck on the screen. So those are the tips. In terms of kids, the tips that I wrote down were delaying smartphones until 13, providing access to non-device leisure activities. And then one that I have, which has been very helpful for us because we can refer back to it, and they call me out on things, is having a contract. So we created a contract, which I would be happy to share with anybody if they wanted it. And so the kids signed the contract. So it just keeps, I won't say that we adhere to it all of the time, but it keeps it top of mind. And they'll call me out on things, and I have to live what I preach. So it's good for them. I like being called out by my kids or anybody for that matter. It keeps me better. And then sharing that plan with parents and caregivers so that it can be consistent, because I think consistency is super hard as a parent, but it's so important in seeing results. So those are the tips that I came up with. Do any of those land?
Those are amazing tips. I was, struggling writing them all down, but I think I've got them all, so I can also put them in the email. I love them, and I'm definitely gonna. I don't like wearing watches because I don't like the weight around my hand. But look what I'm wearing there, so that might be an excuse. So I'm gonna definitely do the alarm clock thing. Definitely gonna do that. I like this. I like this a lot. And I like how you said no tech at the table. It's so simple. I mean, we can say that to our people too, right? Hey guys, no tech at the table. I noticed at the retreat, this is a little different, but it comes from the same kind of attitude. I had found myself in my goddess power once, and it was so surprising when I said to actually Dr. Mark, who was coming in to actually, sit at the front, and we were going to teach something, and he had his shoes on. And I couldn't even think about it so quickly. I just said, hey, I have no shoes here. And he was immediately good and taking them off, right? And then I thought, wow, I'm getting really audacious. I'm just like, no, we don't do that here. No shoes here, right? No tech at the table. I think that's the kind of clarity that we need to come from so that it actually lands. So I like how clearly you pointed out these tips. And yeah, I mean, if we know that just getting rid of the devices for at least times of the day is going to keep us from that path of obesity and all those things we don't want, I mean, it's worth it, isn't it? It's worth looking at the habits. Yeah. And I think
I also found with the boundaries, that brought up something for me, because I feel like it's so loaded to, I don't know, as a parent or as a human being or as a friend or whatever, it's always been hard to say, hey, this is my line. This is where because you're worried about what they're going to think or how they're going to react, or there's going to be conflict.
And might be bizarre.
Yeah.
Be bizarre and odd.
Yes. 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 But isn't it interesting that most of the time when we did, like you said, and he just did it. He didn't.
So easy, because I was so clear. I was so clear that I couldn't even think about being that clear. If I had sort of been saying, I don't know how am I going to tell him now, it would never have been that clear. So yeah, I think it's as with all, it starts with us, right? So if we go into the habit, right? So we've defined how strong the habit is, and we now know that there would be very simple things we could do to break the habit. It takes a commitment, doesn't it? We need to make that choice. We need to say, okay, I now we can do our balancing energetic transformation to break the pattern on an energetic level, and it will taking those steps to actually break the habit down and break it up and then break through. So what I've noticed when working with habits for myself and also with others is to make the little steps, the micro steps, so easy that you can start stacking them. And what I suggest to people when they're struggling with any kind of habit is don't focus on that one habit necessarily that's bugging you most. Take a look at how habitual your day has become or your days have become. Because we're creatures of habit, right? So we'll usually get out of the bed with the exact same foot on the exact same side. We'll go brush our teeth in the exact same spot, do the same moves. Then, I don't know, go make our tea. Or we have all these habits that are not only driving life, but they're driving all the other habits because they're sometimes connected. You'll take that one cup for the tea and, all those things. And just awareness again, just spend tomorrow, the next day. So once you've made the decision to really crack the habits and only keep the ones that are helpful and the other ones you're going to replace with better things, take a day and just observe self. It's so fascinating. So I do this consciously quite regularly. And Grace and I used to call it opposites day. So we would consciously do things just differently. It doesn't have to be a huge change, but say, I don't know, it goes down to grabbing the same pair of underwear. Like I have my 5 pairs of knickers that I like most, right? And I'll just wear those. I'll have beautiful ones, or I don't know, other ones lying next to them, but I'm just like, nah, whatever, right? And then just notice that. And then I climb out of bed on the other side, just right? Or a friend of mine does, he gets into the car on the other side and climbs through the passenger seat into the car seat just to do it different. So I think that's a really fun way to kind of loosen it up a bit. And then I think when we go into the habit loop, it's defining, we know we need to find the trigger, and we need to find out what is the need that's not being met in that moment. I'll give you an example. We know that when we, for instance, go on the social media feed, or if we get a notification, it gives us a sense of reward. Oh, I got another like on that post. Oh, another follower. Oh, someone reached out and messaged me. It's dopamine. So what I like doing is noticing and becoming aware of that moment and saying, oh, I'm going for a dopamine rush right now. And when we know what we're doing, we can also say, okay, that same dopamine rush I would also get if I completed a task. So I could go ahead and say, okay, I will go on my social media and I'm going to go get that dopamine rush. But before I do that, I'm going to finish one thing off my to-do list. Maybe something that I don't like doing. Like, I don't know, I've got to call some authority and get something done. Truth is, it'll only take me about 10 minutes, but I will feel amazing once I've got it off my list. That will already give me a huge dopamine rush. And then I might have a better idea than going on social and checking how many likes or whatever, you know, all that stuff. So that's been helpful to me to deal with habit and habit breaking in a kinder way. Because all other programs that I know, and you know it, we have Ultimate Habits, we've created whole programs around this topic, but they've always kind of come from this sort of punishing thing. You must not have a bad habit. You must use willpower to break through the habit, right? If you don't have enough willpower, you're just a weak ass, right? Why do you have that? But I think it's much nicer to do it in a sort of playful way and to say, okay, what would the unicorn say? Oh, just spread your wings, baby, color it pink, right? I don't know. Am I making sense?
Oh, it makes total sense. And you have to replace, like, it goes along with a lot of what I was thinking is like, why do I know it's okay. So I can read these statistics. Yeah, it's bad. And it can increase ADHD and blah, 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 and all these things. But like, what will I get? What would my life be like without it? What would it be if I did these other things, if I replaced them with these things? And that to me gives me more incentive to think about, the play or the outside nature. To me, a big thing is getting outside in nature. So it's just, like you said, it's not the punishment. It's not like I can't do it because these things will happen.
Right. We're not going to go into the fear of all these bad things will happen if I don't do it. We're going to focus on the outcome of, damn, I'm going to have so much more time. What could I do with that time? And then make that goal so juicy. I have an example. Like, I like doing things. I've said, okay, when I break this habit, I'm going to reward myself with this. That's my why. Because then in that time that I do, I'm going to go dancing. Or going to go riding instead, to do something different. For me, also getting out, being outside it's so nurturing. I hate being inside for long stretches of time. I just don't like it. And if we look at what happened just in the last 3 interesting years, right? What happened to people's moods and brain health and overall health by being locked up in many different countries, we know it's not healthy. So even if we don't, maybe some of you are living in a place where it's hard to get outside, just opening the window and really stretching out, doing a couple of moves and getting that daylight into your face will give you a dopamine kick. So let's hack our own hormones by doing the things that are helpful to us. And in the replay, I'll send in the newsletter, I'll send out this cool GIF that I found, or post that I found, about how we can hack our own hormones. So oxytocin, even if we don't maybe have a pet to snuggle or a human to snuggle, we can take an animal fur, like a lamb skin or something, and put our face against it. That will also create oxytocin, right? Maybe we're not meditating, but we could do breath work, maybe just 3 minutes of conscious breath. It'll create the serotonin. It'll create all those yummy hormones. We can maybe, even if it's just 10 seconds, let's be weird and bizarre, go and hug a tree. Take your shoes off and stamp around on the grass, or go for that cold plunge, top into the lake, or, whatever we can find. I think we've got to work with the resources that we have, right?
I love that. Yep. Sometimes somebody said to me once, and this stuck with me, sometimes meditation is just taking a deep breath at a stoplight.
100%, 100%. Okay. So I think we've set the scene nicely. Let's do some work, shall we? So let's ground down, just become aware of your roots, the soles of your feet. Get up nice and straight, sitting or lying. Just make sure that your spine and neck are straight. And then let's close our eyes and roll them up to set our intention. Then we say, even if I don't know how to do the most graceful, easeful, joyful digital detox to gain quality time to amplify my joy, health, and happiness in life, all I do know is it is so now, and I'm fulfilled. I delete all that could stop me, and I download everything I need to do so now with grace, ease, and joy. Thank you. So it is, so it shall be, or something even better. Shall we work with the word, we'll just say digital detox. I think that's because we want to be focused on the goal. What would it feel like to be completely detoxed of the digital? Then we'd be completely ourselves. We'd have all that energy for ourselves. So we go ahead and we say, digital detox. I love and accept myself with all my habits and attachments that I have to the digital world, to the screens and the information and the buzz. It's okay. And I love and accept myself when I now choose to break up with these habits and to digitally detox my body, mind, and spirit in the best way possible. And breathe. Underneath your left arm, we're going to access our self-confidence and self-worth. Digital detox. I love and accept myself, even if I think I can't do this, or it's going to be really hard, or I'm not worth it, or I don't believe in my ability to actually break these habits. It's okay. And I now choose to release all lack of self-confidence and self-worth, and to tune into my worth, to know that I am worthy of a healthy, happy, long, successful, joyful, loving life, and to do a digital detox again and again whenever I choose to do so, because it serves my high self and I am worth that. Thumbs. Digital detox. I love and accept myself with all my grief that I have whenever I need to release something. And all that grief about maybe the FOMO and the things I might miss and the things that could happen. All that grief, I love and accept myself. And I choose to release the grief and to step into my power of joy. For the more time I have to be with myself and nature and my loved ones, the more joy I shall have in life. And I deserve that. Come underneath your collarbones, tap your chest bone. Digital detox. I love and accept myself with all my fears. Yeah, at my deepest level. And from the very first time I felt these fears, my fears of being disconnected, my fears of, I don't know, failing at things because I don't know things, my fear of missing out, my fear, I don't know, all these fears. It's okay. And I now choose to release the fears and step into my courage of knowing that I have everything inside of me to succeed in life and to be healthy and happy. I can do this. I will do this. And I am doing this now. Okay, liver, right side. I'm tapping my liver on this one. Massage will not do it. Okay, digital detox. I love and accept myself with all my anger towards the technical revolution, my anger towards myself for not handling this better. I forgive myself, and I forgive all that is being created by AI and the digital revolution. It's okay. And I choose to be at peace with myself and digital world and all addictions and habits and patterns I create. It's okay. I release all that no longer serves me. And I tune into my peace of being all of who I am, my essence, my core. I am divine, let's say it. And then start tapping the air above your crown chakra and in front of your heart chakra. Let's connect the brain and the heart. Let's drop into our heart space. And then we breathe into our hearts and we affirm, I am divine. I am worth a healthy, happy, joyful, loving life. And I am worth breaking down, breaking up, and breaking through any habits, any limitations, for I am free. I am free to be me and to live the best life ever now. Yes, yes, yes. Digital detox, super easy, super fun. And every day, in every way, I get better and better at releasing all attachments, at dissolving and transforming any habits, and to be all of who I am. Yes, 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 yes. And then let's tune into that idea of a digital detox. Let's tune into the idea of looking at that habit loop and deciphering it, transforming it. And then we're going to say, yes, I shall turn off my notifications now. Mine are off. Mine are off. No more notifications. I always know what I need to know when I need to know it. So my intuition guides me. That's right. Say it to yourself. I shall delete all apps that no longer serve me or that distract me. And I know exactly which apps I need. And all the others, they're going to go. I shall use an alarm clock or daylight or intuition or my highest guidance to wake me up at the right time every day. I trust that. Every day before bedtime, 1 hour before bedtime, I shall turn my devices off. Yes. I shall read, I'll take a walk, I'll meditate, I'll breathe, I'll make love, whatever. My devices are off. I shall dedicate screen-free time every day, and I shall enjoy dedicating that time to screen-free time. No tech at the table is so easy for me. I like wearing a watch, yes, and I get outside and I leave the phone at home more and more often. Yes, that's who I am. How about you? Check in with the feeling, check in with what you started out with. Can you still find it, or has it gone now?
Much smaller.
Yeah, cool, cool. So what we could do is this coming week, as we begin this digital detox, every day, every time, every moment, we feel that temptation to grab for it. We're just going to take a breath. And I'm going to teach you something from the Goddess Retreat, which made it super fun. And then we're going to, sorry, Grace, we're going to squeeze our pussies and we're going to go, ooh, okay? You just shift the energy, right? So you're thinking of doing something, you're already getting that feeling, no, I shouldn't, and then you're going to go, and take that breath, because that's a pattern interrupt. And the good news about this is that you're training your Kegels at the same time, right? And we're activating the first and the second chakra, which are the foundation. So number one is all about safety and security. Usually we create these dysfunctional habits as a way of finding safety, as a way of fulfilling some need. So if we connect to our bodies in that moment with a deep breath, and then we're firing up that creative power within us and the portal that created all of us, right? That will give us that rush of energy. You're going to also train the muscles down there, which is really good for all kinds of things that we all are free of, like incontinence and all that stuff. And you're giving yourself a dopamine kick at the same time. And then you have that split second to make a choice. And what I like asking myself is, what is the most loving thing that I can do for myself right now? And sometimes that most loving thing is to help someone else. Sometimes that most loving thing is to go take a nap, to eat, to drink, whatever it is, but So if we keep asking ourselves that question, and to make it even easier, we could say, why is it so easy for me to know what is the most loving thing for myself to do right now? So if you turn it into an empowering question, why is it so easy for me to know what is the most loving thing to do right now? Your brain has to give you an answer. So I think if we equip it with these tools, right? So we take the breath, we do this pussy squeeze, right? We go, oh, right? Just, oh, this is so fun. We ask the question. Then we have the pattern interrupt, and we're already changing the synapses in our brain. We're already breaking down the habit. And then when you notice that you're really struggling, you do the 5 elements. So the whole process that we did now, if we keep doing that, the ideal situation, so if we were working one-on-one now, we would do that until the feeling is at 0. Then you're done. Okay, but we can do that ourselves. You now know how it goes. So you could do that process again. And I like doing the 5 elements, focusing on my dream life. So I'll do it in front of my vision board, or I have my little mind movies on my phone that I could watch. But if I'm doing a digital detox, those are not going to work, right? So I'm going to use my mind movie in my brain. I'm just going to think of those moments of pleasure and joy that I'm going to have instead of scrolling through my phone. That's my plan. How does that sound to you, Sister Goddess Dawn?
I like that plan.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, we have a transcript, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I'm going to take that out and put it in our email, because I like what I said myself too. Cool. And then I can keep myself accountable because it's my own voice that said it. So then you could go ahead and you could take that last commitment that we made, if you liked, and you could speak it onto your phone and then play it back to yourself. So, we can get real creative in how to trick our subconscious mind into submission.
That's okay. I'm good with tricking myself.
Let's do it in a good way, right? Let's do it in a good way. So let's give the word to us goddess, to all us goddesses, and let's remove us from the spotlight and give it back to you girls and ask, are there any questions? Is there anything you would like us to answer? Is there feedback? Is there something you noticed? Come on, speak up, speak out. We'd love to hear you, see you.
I did see Babette was talking about getting reports from her iPhone. So if we talk about the triggers and understanding, I think that brings a lot of awareness into it. It can be kind of scary. I don't know if anybody does everybody look at those? Do you guys get those if you don't have an iPhone? No. Yeah. I do it because you can hook it up to your families. And so I can see what my kids are doing too.
Oh, the tracking, the people when they tag you, I friggin' hate that. I'm like, who's tagging me again?
Oh, this is just the tracking, like the kids. So because you've got the iPhone, so we're on a family, and I can see the kids and how much time they've spent. And so I started using that just to be aware.
Oh, the tracking of how much screen time. Yes, that's brilliant. That's really good. That keeps us accountable. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. No questions, anyone? And we're all happy and satisfied. So let's gather up some energy. We've got a couple of minutes breath. See, a couple of minutes left. So let's breathe together to get into a really yummy state and take all that energy forward. And the reason why I rub my hands is because I can feel the energy. It connects me to my body, and I'm doing it right in front of my heart. So that helps me ground into the right kind of space that I want to be in. And I suggest we suckle the area around our heart, feel the energy. And then let's just take 5 gentle breaths at the count of 5. So we're going to breathe in at the count of 5. And exhale to the count of 5. Just gently slowing down our nervous system, integrating all we learn. Another deep breath in, calming the mind, accessing the heart. And then we release that breath again as we release all that no longer serves us. Tune into that beautiful power inside of us. And then we think of something beautiful as we tune in again and breathe in. A bunch of flowers, someone we love. And then we release that breath again at the count of 5. And then one more together. Inhale. And exhale, wishing each other well, imagining this golden energy bubble all around us, keeping us safe and protected. May you feel safe. May you feel healthy. May you feel happy. And may you live life with ease and in freedom, the freedom to be all of who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was wonderful gathering with you. It was gorgeous to see some of you at our retreat, and I greatly look forward to seeing you again next week. And there, what time is it in Albuquerque, New Mexico, if it's 7 p.m. in Europe and it's 1 p.m. in Eastern? Can you help me out there, Dawn? Because that's going to be my time and where I'm going to be tuning in from.
Albuquerque might be, I don't know if that's not Pacific time, right?
It's mountain time.
It's mountain time. So that means that it would be, so it's 1 o'clock for me. That means it would be 11 o'clock, I believe.
11 a.m. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll double check that. I'll double check that and confirm.
So yeah. I might show you some beautiful surroundings. I'll see where I land in Albuquerque or Santa Fe. And I look forward to connecting with you then again on Monday. And have an amazing week, goddesses. I love you so much. Bye-bye.